Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mubadala United States Sail Grand Prix right here on the iconic San Francisco Bay. I'm your host, Elise Zwick, and I'm excited to be speaking to you live from the SailGP Race Village. We are looking across to the stunning Golden Gate Bridge that will be a spectacular backdrop to the action-packed Season 2 Grand Final this weekend. Over the next 45 minutes or so, we will be meeting, of course, the stars of the show, the sport's best athletes who will be entertaining you this weekend. And if the rest of the season and this week's training on the bay is anything to go by, you're in for a treat. Expect thrills, spills, and potentially some upsets, which we may have seen already. It all comes down to this weekend after 7 thrilling events around the world. Australia and the home team, the United States, have already booked their place in the grand final, vying for the $1 million season prize, while Japan looks set to join them on Sunday, although this is SailGP, and you never know what could happen. So far this season, we have truly had it all, from action, drama, breakages, capsizes, and controversy, as our identical F-50 catamarans race at highway speeds on a tight race course close to the shore. It's truly the most exciting racing on the water you can see anywhere in the world, and you get to see it right here in San Francisco. The weekend isn't just about the race for the ultimate bragging rights in the sport this year, though. SailGP introduced the Impact League, a sporting first, with a second podium for this season and a second leaderboard, which has a different leader at the top, New Zealand. So, that's 2 leaderboards this season, one for sport and, of course, one for purpose. All part of SailGP's Race for the Future, championing a world powered by nature, with the goal of accelerating the transition to clean energy. Now, with all of that said, let's get started. And of course, our press conference will take place in 2 halves. And we have a star-studded lineup for you today. As you can see, our first 4 drivers sitting here in front of you now. Our hometown hero and 2-time America's Cup winner, Jimmy Spithill from the U.S. team. Current season leader, reigning SailGP champion, and Olympic gold medalist, Tom Slingsby from Australia. Olympic gold and silver medalist, Nathan Outeridge from Japan. And 2020 Olympic bronze medalist, Jordi Jamar from the Spain SailGP team. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us, and of course for our drivers being here with us today. Jimmy, let's go ahead and start with you. It's safe to say that this season, everything that has gone wrong has. Hitting underwater objects in Italy, a broken leg on the team in Denmark, issues with the boat in Plymouth. Your team has faced every kind of adversity this season, and yet you're here as one of the only 2 teams guaranteed a place in Sunday's grand final. Do you think this is a sign of good leadership of the team?
Well, I think it's a sign of a good team. That's what I think it is. We've been tested more than any other team here. It is the best lineup we have ever seen. I mean, you just look at some of the names that aren't in the final. That's certainly a lot of people were talking about at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, I'm really proud of the team to face what they've had to face to get to this point. But the job's not done. You know, yes, we're fortunate enough to have qualified for the final. But as Tom and his boys showed yesterday, anything can happen, very, very quickly. If that had happened on Sunday, Tom wouldn't be in the race in the final for the million. So that's the balance we have to play with, with currently qualified for the final like these guys, that we want to push hard out there. We want to use these 5 fleet races as a way to warm up and get ready for the final. But if we cross the line or if something happens, that's it. It could be over. So it's a very, very tight line we have to walk going into the Sunday.
And speaking of capsizes and, taking a swim in the bay, you had a pretty famous passenger on board. Can you tell us about that situation?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we had a failure in the system. Water got into one of the electronic systems in the boat, and the wing hydraulics wouldn't function in the manoeuvre, and we went over. But having said that, it was good to get that out of the way. We did a full recheck of the boat, and it's something we will definitely be looking at going into Sunday. We had Kai Lenny, who really is probably the best waterman in the world. Jamie O'Brien, one of the best riders at Pipeline, and to have those sort of guys come out on the boat who, I mean, if you've ever seen some of the footage of those guys at places like Nazaire and riding some of these big waves and the situations they get in, for them to come out on the boats and say that was absolutely crazy, intense, I've never experienced anything like it, I think gives the sport real credibility. So yeah, very, very exciting to have Kai out on the boat. And all through the capsize, he had the perfect angle on his GoPro, so he's no stranger to going through an incident and capturing it. So it was great. We look forward to, and I think the rest of the fleet, welcoming those sort of athletes and showing them what SailGP is.
And what would a win on Sunday mean to you?
It would mean $1 million.
You've spoken a lot in the lead up to the event about this race, being Tom's to lose. What makes you the underdog this weekend?
Well, I mean, I would have hoped your media would have done some homework, but if you're looking at it, I'll do it for you. Tom is the defending champion, okay, so you can start there. Nathan was also in the final, and that to be quite honest, Nathan had the $1 million in his hand last time. It slipped through and Tom got past, so we saw that. So, yes, I believe these two are the favourites. They've done more time than anyone else in these boats, clearly. I mean, it's no surprise to me to see these two guys right up there. Look, we are a brand new team. Our very first event, we got taken out by Nathan and we're last. I mean, that's not the way you want to start your first season with a brand new team. However, like we said before, the team have rallied back. I believe we're the underdog, but the rest of us are catching up to Tom. Like coming into this event, I really thought the Aussies were a big step. We've all learnt a few things in the data. We haven't caught up yet. We're not there yet, but we've definitely bridged the gap. And every day we go out there, we take another step forward. Now, Tom won't be out there today, so it's another opportunity for Nathan, ourselves, and the rest of the fleet to try and bridge that gap that the Aussies seem to have, especially when it's strong conditions.
What does the rest of the panel have to say to that?
Kind of feel like we need a violin playing every time he tells us how hard done by he is. But yeah, look, I'd prefer to be in the position of favourite. The reason we're favourite is because we've proven that we can perform under pressure time and time again, and I wouldn't sort of trade our position for anyone else's. But as Jimmy said, we had a tough day yesterday, and every day we go out, we're pushing, we know everyone's trying to catch us, so we've got to work really hard to stay in front, and we were pushing hard, working on manoeuvres yesterday, and had a capsize, and unfortunate timing in one way, in that we missed all the practice racing today, but fortunate in another way it didn't happen today, and we're able to race the event. But the tech team and our shore team are working tirelessly to get the boat ready, and we're excited and very grateful of all their hard work to get us on the water tomorrow.
And what was that moment like yesterday, knowing going into this weekend? How were you going to come out of it today?
First thing for me was frustration. It was probably our last manoeuvre of the day. We were just finishing up for the day, as you saw us, 5 o'clock, and we were just getting ready to come back to the base, and we were saying, okay, that was a good session, let's head home. And just a couple of tiny little details. There's nothing, you look at the footage and there's nothing that stands out that we did really wrong, but a couple of little details, looking at the data, that have sort of combined to make us capsize. And in a way, it's really good. We've learnt a lot of little things about what went wrong, and we now are going to be better off in that situation, but we've created a hell of a lot of work for a lot of people, and it's not something I'm proud of, putting our team in this position.
Do you think this will make you stronger going into Sunday?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it is unfortunate to miss practice racing. We haven't done any real practice starts. We've been here training for the last week, but mainly by ourselves, and we haven't done that much with other teams, and definitely not on the start line. And so we're going to miss a bit of that, but we're going to watch racing, watch the footage, and try to learn from the mistakes, and watch our competitors and see if they've got any tendencies we can take advantage of. And we're going to prepare as best we can.
Jimmy and Nathan have both spoken about your temper. Do you think this had anything to do with yesterday or could potentially change things on Sunday?
Yeah, I've heard they've been saying I've got a bad temper and my tempers might be what loses us this final. It's a tricky... look, I do have a temper. Everyone, it's sort of known as red mist on board when I start losing my temper. But it's... look, my passion for this is also what gets us to the top. And I'm not going to change the way I am. Obviously, I've got to keep my cool in important parts of the race and make sure my temper doesn't cost us the race, but it's also what makes our team so good is we're very passionate and we work really hard and we know there's a lot on the line. So we're going to keep the same mentality we've had all year, and with the conditions we have here in San Francisco, we're really happy with our chances.
Now, Nathan, would you say it's temper or passion that Tom talks about?
I think Tom's got a lot of both, to be honest. So I've known about the red mist for a long time, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him after his incident yesterday. I'm sure there was mist flying everywhere.
Did you think that you'd be sitting here going into Sunday?
Well, we always hoped we would be. As Jimmy said, it didn't start very well for us and especially for them. And so it's been a bit of a climb back all season to get to this moment. And then I think what kind of put us in this position was a certain British person running over us in Sydney and putting us out and being really kind and giving us a boat in Sydney to race on the second day. So, it's funny how things unfold. And all season, Tom's been the benchmark and we've just been trying to get better and better. And, we've had a bit of a knack for doing quite well in the light air. And this place is known to be quite windy, so we've made a few changes throughout the season to improve our strong wind performance. And we're just chipping away and getting ready for Sunday.
And what are those strategies?
Well, the first thing is we had to get a little bit heavier as an overall crew weight. We started off this season and we were in the lighter weight category. And for those who don't know the details, when you are in the lighter end, you end up carrying corrector weight. So you have lead on the boat to try and get the riding moment to be the same. But we're also probably lacking a little bit in the power on the handles from the grinders. So ahead of Sydney, we made a couple of crew changes, got some more heavier, stronger grinders at the front of the boat and put Leo Takahashi into the flight control position. And so he's been relearning his role on the boat, but that extra 30 kilos of crew weight seems to be making a difference for our straight line performance now. And, it's just little things that make differences in these boats. And that's one thing that we're seeing making actually quite a big difference.
Who are you most afraid of, Tom or Jimmy?
Neither of them, to be honest. Just give them a wide berth from what I saw yesterday and we'll be fine.
Thank you. Now, Jordy, can you tell us, this is your debut here in San Francisco. A lot has changed over the season. Can you tell us what this moment feels like for you?
It's, as a sailor, it's the moment you always been dreaming for, no? Not so time ago, we were running behind these guys, asking for pictures in Bermuda, and now we are here, seated next to them, and yes, it's a huge opportunity for us. We know it's the opportunity of our life, and all the team is fully focused on taking it. There's no chance we want to miss it, so we are doing 200% to take this opportunity. And yes, it's a super important day for the team. It's gonna be the first time a full Spanish team will be racing in such a boats like the F50s, and we are extremely happy and looking forward.
Now, do you think it's risky to switch drivers last minute?
Well, it could be, but at the same time, I think beyond everything is the team spirit and the team future, no? I think when we were here, the trainings were a bit tough, and the team took a decision. To me personally, to jump here on the boat in the grand final, where all the teams are full in shape and sharpest than ever. Maybe it's not the best, but beyond anyone, there's the team, and the team took that decision. And yeah, when all your teammates look at you and tell you that they want to race with you, like you don't have, you can't choose, no? And I'm very thankful to them and looking forward.
Now let's talk about Phil. Does this move make Canada your most fierce rivals for next season? He said the first team that will be in his sight will be the Spanish team.
Well, to be honest, we are very thankful to Phil. I think what he has done for the Spanish team, it's really good, and me personally and all the team is very thankful to him. But at the same time, I think we are in SailGP as a team, and we want to beat these guys. No, to be honest, obviously, we know to be realistic, it's that we are far, but those guys are the goal, and we want to beat the three kings.
Well, thank you so much for that insight. It's going to be an exciting weekend. We want to go ahead and open up the floor to some other local questions.
Hey guys, this is for Nate. Twice your boat has gone back to the SailGP shed for repairs. What's it like when you get your boat back? Does it feel the same, or especially with the bow getting taken off last time, how's the boat feel?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's still white, and it still functions just fine. And the first day we sailed here, we jumped in the Kiwi boat, and they loaned us the boat for an hour or two. And they're all one design boats, and they all feel really similar. So it's nice to be back in our boat again. And honestly, we can't really tell a difference from what it was like at all the events early this year. I think that's a credit to how good all the boat builders are, and how good SailGP is as an organisation to, take a damaged component of a boat, replace it, get it back together, and then the driver doesn't even know that it's changed. So, the organisation is doing such a good job of making sure that when we do crash the boats, which happens, whether it's a boat-on-boat incident or just a capsize, when the boats come back together, they're as good as new.
One more question.
For Tom, following yesterday's incident, what's on the repair list now, and when do you anticipate getting back on the water?
Yeah, obviously pretty extensive damage, and probably 80-90% of that is to the wing. The way the capsize happened, the impact was on the wing was really tough, and as soon as the wing hit the water, there was breaking of flaps on the wing. So the hull is not too bad. We need to replace a few electronic boxes, fix a few fairings, and that wouldn't hold us back from racing today. But we need to rebuild some of the full wing flaps and the control system on the wing, and that'll take throughout the day. Best case scenario is we would get out for a 20-minute sail on South Bay this afternoon to check over the systems, but I put the request into the tech team, but I also said I'm the one that put us in this situation, so we're at your mercy. And they said, we'll try our best, but it looks very unlikely. I think they'll still be working on the boat tonight, and hopefully we can do a little check sail tomorrow morning, go out for 20 minutes and then come back in and put the boat on the mooring and make sure everything's functioning well.
And we'll take one more question over here.
Aquí Jordi, ¿qué tal? Marco, usted para la sexta antena 3, si puedes contestarnos en castellano y contarnos un poco, pues eso, la experiencia de ser capitán, felicidades por ello, y pues no sé, ¿qué te esperas de este fin de semana y ya también de la temporada que viene? Un poco expectativas y cómo te sientes.
La verdad es que muy feliz por todo el equipo. Como decía, es un gran paso para el equipo. Será la primera vez que un equipo totalmente español compita en SailGP, y es algo que desde que nació el equipo para la Youth America's Cup soñábamos, y eso, muy feliz. A la vez sabemos que es una gran responsabilidad el paso que vamos a dar, y vamos a por ello. Sí que es verdad, las últimas horas han sido un poco movidas, pero desde ya ahora, en cuanto termine esto, la cabeza va a estar en navegar, en competir, nos vamos a olvidar de todo lo demás, y y solo eso, lo que nos gusta hacer, que es navegar, lo que mejor sabe hacer el equipo, vamos a ir a por ello y a ver hasta dónde podemos llegar.
A big thank you to our athletes for being here with us today. Best of luck this weekend. We're going to take a quick break and switch out to our next set of drivers. Gentlemen, thank you so much. More set of drivers coming to join us, so just stand by for just a moment as we sanitize and switch that out. So don't leave yet, more to come. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are underway as we continue our look ahead to the Mubadala United States Sail Grand Prix here in San Francisco. And now, please welcome to the stage our next set of drivers, the most decorated Olympic sailor of all time, Sir Ben Ainslie, driver of the Great Britain SailGP team, three-time Olympic medalist and America's Cup winner, Peter Burling of New Zealand, round-the-world ocean racer Nikolai Sejested from the Denmark SailGP team, presented by Rockwool, and fellow Olympian and European silver medalist in the knockout class, Canton de la Pierre from France. Now, Ben, over to you to start. The team is sporting a new look for this event. Can you tell us the story behind that?
Yeah, it's exciting for us to have a bit of a rebrand, well, a pretty major rebrand. And really it's about our purpose partner, which is the 1851 Trust. And over the years we developed a program with them called STEM Crew, which is about providing a digital education platform for youngsters to inspire them into those key STEM subjects and inspire the engineers and technicians of the future. And we've seen a big pickup with that over the last 3 or 4 years, so out to over half the secondary schools in the UK. But we wanted to take that a step further, and linking up with SailGP's massive push on sustainability, to provide the educational platform for youngsters so they can understand better the challenges around climate change, and not to scare them, but actually to help provide them with the information as to how they can make a difference, both in their everyday lives, themselves, their friends, their family, but also how potentially they could be part of solving the problem in the future. As we all know, the young generations, the next generations are going to be key to that. So we're really excited about that. That's where Protect comes from, and actually Ben Cartledge is here, I can see, he's our CEO of the 1851 Trust. And you know, in conjunction with SailGP and the massive push on sustainability through the Impact League, it's something we're, like I said, we're really proud of.
And clearly it's the season championships this weekend. Would you say your results this season are disappointing?
Yes, I think that's probably disappointing is a good description of our season. You know, we clearly have the ability to be a team that can win events. Our goal was to make it into the final. We didn't do that. We had a number of key mistakes at critical moments, which have cost us dearly. But that's competition at this level. And, you know, unfortunately, it can happen. It's happened to us. We've certainly spent a lot of time thinking about, what went wrong, some of the mistakes, and how we can try and rectify those. Like I said, I think we've got a really good package. We've got a fantastic team, and actually a lot of the issues, mistakes were my mistakes, not the team's mistakes. So really, it's down to eliminating those, and we know, like I say, we know that we've got the overall package to be a successful team in this arena.
Let's talk about the crash in Sydney. What was that moment like?
It was another disappointing moment. Yes, it was a real shame because it was a great event. We were going well in the racing, in the warm up, and in the racing on the Saturday. But yeah, we made a misjudgment. We didn't see the Japanese boat, or I didn't see the Japanese boat, and it cost us dearly both for that event and the overall season. But like I said, that's happened. We've got to move on. We're really excited about this event. Both, I think, for all of the teams here, can have a great event, and then of course the grand final will be fascinating to watch and see the outcome of that.
From disappointing moments to positive moments, it's been a huge year for the league's commitment to diversity, and you have an Olympic star in Hannah on your team. What benefits has the introduction of the Women's Pathway program brought to your team?
Well, having someone like Hannah Mills in our team is a massive bonus because she's the most successful Olympic sailor in the Olympic arena ever, I think. And she's a huge talent. She brings a lot to our team on and off the water. On the water in terms of her experience, her communication skills and her tactical skills. And off the water, she's a hugely credible sustainability advocate. And again, with our, the purpose partnerships that we have through SailGP, she's a huge asset to our team. And then bringing in other female sailors through the season. You've got Hannah Diamond, who's sailing with us at this event. Nikki Boniface will come and sail with us in Bermuda. We actually had Hattie Rogers, who's a young 18-year-old sailor who was here with the WASP program. We had a bit of illness with Hannah Diamond, so Hattie Rogers sailed with us the last 2 days and just did an incredible job. I was really, really impressed how she handled sailing these boats in this much breeze, having not been on an F50 before. She got straight into it and just loved it. So there's a huge amount of potential there with the Women's League and the gender equity program within SailGP.
And what have you loved the most about the Impact League?
I think the Impact League has got huge potential, not only in SailGP, but across all sports. And we really need to try and project that across other sports because, we're all competitive here, sitting here at this table. We want to win on the water, but we also want to win the Impact League. And Pete and his team have done a fantastic job. I think they've really set the standards. We're nipping at their heels, trying to learn from them, catch them up. But it means a lot to us all. And again, projecting that onto other sports and the opportunity that sports has to set a standard in society, it's really important that we do that.
Thank you. Now, Peter, can you tell us about the Impact League and your team being involved?
Yeah, well, it's something right from the inception of the Impact League. As a team, we really wanted to go out there and try and win it in this first season, and I think I'm just blown away by the efforts that our whole team's put into it, and really Anna, who's back in NZ actually this event, but has really led that charge for us. Just an amazing effort by them.
Has been coming into this league a challenge?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Coming into SailGP, has that been a challenge for you and the team?
Yeah, well, I think looking back at the season, it's definitely been a challenging one, and I think the one thing we probably didn't really understand was just if you did get slightly on the back foot, how hard it is to catch up. Especially through the main European block of the season, where you're really only getting 1 or 2 days training before events, and for us as a group, we ended up coming into Bermuda quite late, off the back of the America's Cup. And then a lot of our key talent had to miss a couple of events in Olympic preparation, which was something when we did our original planning. I don't think any of us could foresee that COVID would bounce the Olympics back a year into the middle of the season. But it's something that, saying that also, it's been amazing to see that the group come together, keep fighting and keep improving. And for us, this week's really about making sure we take some big steps forward. It's been the first time we've actually had a little bit more training before the event. We've made some pretty good changes to the way we go about things, and I think that just means we're really excited to get racing this weekend and looking forward to next season.
Still up for grabs is the Grand Prix win this weekend, of course, and there's additional prize money at stake. Is this motivation for your team, and would it be a good way to close out the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think, between being ourselves in Spain, it's really tight for that fourth position overall. I think that fourth position overall actually probably gives you a small outside chance of being in the finals, looking what's happened over the last couple of days as well. So, for us as a group, we're just going out there and going to give it our all to try and make sure we have a good event to close out this season, but also looking at that fourth position is a pretty critical one.
And what will you do differently to be in a better position next year?
Well, I think probably after Sydney we went back and had a pretty hard look at everything about the way we've been going through the paces this season, and tried to really improve every area. And it's been great to have Ray Davies come on board with us now, and just the way people have been breaking down the roles and responsibilities within the group to try and get a better outcome's been pretty cool. And I think looking through the training this week, we've been making some pretty good gains as the period's gone on, and hopefully we can put that together on the racecourse.
Thank you, Peter. Now, Nikolai, how would you rate the performance of your team this season overall? There have been some highs, of course, and a home race win in Denmark must be the proudest achievement. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, winning races on home ground is always fantastic, but I think for us the bigger picture is a little bit more important. We love to race at home, but we're here to compete for the overall, and obviously sitting at this table meant that we haven't quite been doing a fantastic job, but as a new team we obviously knew it was going to be difficult, and we are just trying to keep our heads down and focus on the long-term goal and I think we're in a pretty good position now to be competitive from the beginning of season 3, and that's always been the goal. Start this first season with some lessons and mistakes, and then set ourselves up for a strong start in Bermuda.
And a new entry into the competition. It's been a while since we've had that. So do your Switzerland and Canada ahead of season 3, how hard is it for a new team to come into the league and be competitive straight away?
Oh, I think it depends a lot how you enter the SailGP. I mean, we entered as a full Danish team, and that was always a long drive and a lot of lessons learned, and that's hard. I think Switzerland and Canada being developed nations with a lot of foreigners on board, that obviously makes it a lot easier. So, but for us, it's always been about having a Danish team from the get-go and build that up to be a successful Danish team, and that's what we focus on. I think Switzerland and Canada will probably have a little bit easier with help from international sailors and a lot of training. So I think it's a different situation.
What's the most exciting about being here in the San Francisco Bay?
I think, watching the training the last few days, it's pretty clear that it's going to be a lot of action out there, and I'm pretty sure you haven't seen the last capsize this weekend. So it's just going to be fantastic racing and really interesting to watch. And I think I'll be surprised if the race result on Sunday is as given as it stands right now. I think there's a lot still to happen, and I think these guys to the left of me probably have a pretty good shot at racing 3 races on Sunday instead of 2. So that'll be quite interesting for everyone to watch.
And how does your team prepare for potential capsizes or other problems along the way?
Obviously, you always prepare for safety and you focus on it, but you try not to have that in the front of your head when you're racing. You need to go out and get a good result and focus on the racing. So it's something you prepare long before racing, so you know how to handle it and how to quickly get the boat back up and secure the crew. But the main focus for a race weekend is racing. You need to get points on the scoreboard, and pushing is part of it. And sometimes you push too far, and then you have to recover quickly. But that's the main focus in a race weekend like this.
Thank you, Nikolai. Quentin, it's been a unique season for you, given you've joined the championship halfway through. What goals did you set for yourself when you joined this team, and would you say you've met those goals?
Yeah, it was a huge announcement for me in Carex. It was also a bit tough week and windy week for a rookie. But yeah, I just met the team was not in a really good shape, just have to put a new dynamic into the team, and I just have tried to give some real concrete goals for the team and just be focused on it, not on the results. Obviously, it's quite difficult for a rookie to just perform like in a click. So at this point, I'm really happy on our way to work. I think we did well. We improved day after day. I also like our spirit on board. I think it's quite simple and efficient. So I'm looking forward, and it's getting well.
And any advice for Jordi, considering this weekend it's a baptism of fire for him? What do you have to say?
I know Jordi for 1.5 years. We met each other before the Olympics, and so we spent sometimes together in Portugal or in Tokyo. I know Jordi is a really good sailor. He's also a tough worker, so I mean, he will do well for sure, and he just have to enjoy the F50 because we are so lucky to be there and sail those boats in such a good bay.
New faces with the team this week. Do you think that will shake up the team?
I don't know if it will be a change for us in Bermuda, but for sure we try to be a national team, all French team. We have Lee Macmillan, which is a really good asset for us. We learned a lot from him, so we just try to build a full French team with Lee Macmillan fully involved with us. So we'll see in Bermuda what happens, but at the moment Lee staying with us.
So who do you think will win it all on Sunday?
Sorry.
Who will win it all on Sunday?
Win it all, like the final?
Yes.
I don't really know. I mean, I was quite surprised about the intensity about the Australian and the Americans during the training. I think those teams are really focused on the grand final, and they are pushing hard. So I think the show will be really good this week for sure.
Nikolai, who do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go with a wild card. I'm going to say one of these two guys next to me.
Peter, what do you have to say?
I think that's why it's sport, isn't it? We're all looking forward to just seeing how the weekend plays out. But it looks the southerly could be pretty interesting on Sunday as well. None of us have ever seen that before, so it'll be a cool weekend.
And Ben, of course, over to you.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be very, very tight. I guess if I had to put my house on a team, I would put it on Australia if the winds are stronger. But yeah, very tight. Be good. It'll be a good show.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. Anyone have questions?
Ben, every venue is different. This is a pretty iconic place to come and race these boats. Can you talk about some of the challenges that San Francisco Bay, that are unique to San Francisco Bay?
Yeah, it's a great venue. It really is. It's one of the top venues in the world, I think, in sailing. Up there with Sydney Harbour, Auckland, a few others out there. Maybe even the Solent, the Push as a Brit, I'd say that. What's sort of special about it? I guess the city front, the Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz. Also, this sort of mixture of the wind, slightly offshore winds, so it's a little bit shifty, but also you got some tidal gradients at different stages of the flood and the ebb, which then has an effect on how the wind flows over the course. So that makes it quite challenging, actually, tactically pretty challenging, and a great race course for these boats because the water, as you can see, is for the wind strength is generally reasonably flat. Every now and then it chops up a bit with the ebb tide, but it's one of the best race courses you could get for these boats, if not the best.
And one more question from the floor.
Hello, the San Francisco Bay just this week has kicked up, and it's a lot of wind. So Nikolai, my understanding from friends who have sailed over your way is that those are champagne sailing conditions. How is it different here, especially on a foiling boat? How have you found that?
To be honest, this is pretty much like Denmark. It's same temperatures and same wind strength. So it's yeah, I guess we call it champagne sailing. This is a beautiful sunny day in Denmark in the summer, so it's yeah, we're pretty used to it. It's a lot of clothing, obviously. It's cold, it's fresh out there, but it's more about the strong winds and the current, as Ben says. It makes it challenging, especially when you get a bit of sea state. These boats are good for a lot of things, but waves is not one of them. So that's what makes it interesting. I think on Sunday, when the tide is changing pretty late, that will make a bit of fresh race, the first one.
Well, thank you so much to our athletes. Best of luck the rest of the way. Thank you to all of us for joining us. It's going to be very exciting here this weekend. The action kicks off at 2 p.m. local time on Saturday and Sunday. You can watch the racing on CBS Sports all weekend on YouTube or, of course, the SailGP app. SailGP.com/watch to find out how you can catch the extra drama and enjoy. I'm your host, Elise Zwick. Thank you so much for being with us, and best of luck. Thank you.